that this is recorded. So don't use any of that fruity language. Leave that to me. So welcome. First of 2023. If you want to see, so this is kind of a bit of a new innovation for us, actually, thinking about it. If you wanted to kind of see what's coming up or how our sort of the sequence works, if you go click on Marketing Roundtable on our website, you'll see here that we've got our upcoming events. And today we're talking about LinkedIn organic lead generation, but you'll see that we've got these different events coming up in the next few weeks. So we've got a 13 weeks, we run a 13-week cycle. So we have a series of events. We get to week 14 and we then present LinkedIn again. So apologies, obviously, we feel that sometimes you'll see stuff when you first see something, and then you'll see other little nuances or it's just like reminders or things you go, oh yeah, I thought I was going to do that, but I never quite got around to doing that. So you can see that on our website there. Cool. What's the idea of these marketing roundtables? Well, it's about 20 to 25 minutes worth of content where I share something that's really working for us. I just scaled a marketing agency to $1 million revenue, sold it. I now coach clients to be able to scale their businesses, and predominantly from a lead generation and sales point of view. So hence why I love to be able to share these ideas freely with you guys, and we can all kind of have a bit more of a round table type session in the second part, which is, oh, okay, we just talked about LinkedIn. This is what I'm doing on LinkedIn. This is what's working. This is my thoughts. You got the resident expert Parksy in the house, and I think there's a few other LinkedIn experts as well that can also enrich the conversation today. So that's where the roundtable piece comes in. So half the session today, it's only 45 minutes, half the session today will be me showing you what we're doing, and then the other half is to find out what you guys are doing and answer any questions. Sound good? Give us a double thumbs up. All right. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, so let me share my screen and jump into the presentation. Now, what this will be is a bit of a microcosm of our 5-day challenge. So if you were on the 5-day challenge, this will be more of a reminder than particularly new. And so the second part of today will be the additional value for you guys. So ultimately, this is the ultimate lead generation system that we want to work on. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you that this can be done. And we're going to show you that people are getting results from the system I'm going to present. I'm going to then demonstrate the system, and then I'm going to hopefully inspire you to take action today. This is some of the outreach messages that we send using the template I'll talk about today. And you'll see here, look, happy to have a chat. Okay, let's schedule a call. Hey, sure, next week. So what we do here, generate leads and appointments for you. And these are our last few clients won. And you can see about 50% of our clients won come from LinkedIn using this tactic. These are some of our clients and some of the people that did our challenge. And you can see here, look, John, he got 4 leads within the first couple of days of doing this. Jan went from, he now got 6 leads coming in. Karen got 4 calls scheduled. And Jay here got 1 call scheduled so far. So you can see that there is a rhythm to it, and it is not just working for the guru. It's also working for everybody that's running for this. So do lean into this tactic. And there's a couple more there. I'm not going to keep on going through them, but you kind of get the point, right? So we're going to show you this completely for free today. That's the whole point. We want you to get leads. So this is the system. We want to take you from this left-hand side, which is basically priming your LinkedIn profile for lead generation, not being like a digital CV. We want to then give you a messaging campaign to be able to hit your first-degree connections up with, and then we want to talk about a nudge campaign. You should be thinking then, and I'm not going to train you on this stuff today, but you should be thinking that after these campaigns go out, you've got a system to be able to take them into a calendar booking, warm them up. This is what this is about. Warm people up before they hit your actual strategy session or your demo, whatever you're going to do. Text message reminder. All of this can be handled nicely by Calendly or something similar. You should then have a system for doing the bookings, following up the bookings, having a landing page for your flagship product, if that's what you're selling. Maybe thinking about having a 2-hit sales process. So strategy session, decision call, and then contract. So this second piece, you should be thinking about this and have this set up and have a lot of that systemized. Today, we want to get the people to the party, which is about the LinkedIn stuff. Cool. So step one, know your audience. If you don't know who you're going, then you don't know who you're going to target, right? And how therefore can we go out and actually target them, right? So if I show you this, at the top of LinkedIn, you see here, I've done coach plus UK plus speaker, right? And then that gives you a search. Now the plus bit is the Bogian search, right? So he was a mathematical person, turn of the century. And essentially he came up with this concept of, that was kind of the forefather of data, basically. And it's the this and that, or this or that, or this, but not that. And that's the kind of thought process when you're searching. So the pluses are this plus UK plus speakers. So if I want to go after people who are business coaches or just coaches in the UK who are speakers, which will be the type of people that we might be able to help, then that will tell me what my market size is. And if I wanted to go coaches plus UK minus speaker, then I'd want to go after all the coaches that are not speakers in the UK. So you can see that. So if you wanted to go for managing director plus IT minus finance, that means you only get IT directors, but not in the financial industry. So you can see how that sort of search term, you can use those plus and minuses to your advantage, right? But look here, this is the market size for me, right? And you should be doing these searches and know what your market size is. And you can see here, I've got 197,000 people on there. That's my opportunity. Now, what I want to do is then find, well, what is my low-hanging results? So let's actually do this live now, right? And so let's go onto LinkedIn and type in a search. So coach, there you go. So coach plus speaker plus London plus UK, right? So really kind of specific search criteria. Now, is it always only going to serve you 3 results? You have to do see people results here. That gives me my market size, right? 116 people. Oh, hang on. Let me just get off this. Connections. There you go. I want to look at, oh, okay, that is giving me, okay. So there's 106. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the speaker bit just so I can, I'm going to remove the London bit so it's on there. So it will give me the entire list. There we go. And then I want to go people, and I want to go connections, and I want to go 2nd and 3rd degree connections to see the potential market size of this, right? So 5,400 people is the opportunity size, the market size. And then if I change this to see who's my 1st degree connections, not my 2nd and 3rd, then these are my low-hanging fruit. These are my 339 people, right? So I have a 5,500 potential opportunities there. And I then have 339 people that I am currently connected with. And so that gives me 2 things. One is the potential, and the second is the amount of people that I can actually get in and start connecting with, right? And start to message. So if we start to think about this, now that's the low-hanging fruit. Those are the people that I can start to go out to. So let's have a look at this. The next stage now, once we know what our market size is that we want to then start to write our headline for that audience. And so when we think about trying to niche into lead generation, we should think about niching our marketing, not our business. What do I mean by that? Is that, yes, you might be able to work with marketing agencies. Yes, you might be able to work with XYZ company. But if you want to really go after a target audience, you should be considering really focusing and double downing on that if you're going to use LinkedIn as a tool to prospect. So I would write my headline for coaches because that's who I'm trying to target, right? And so when they come and see me, they feel comfortable that they know that I'm a specialist in their field, right? So write your headline for your audience. So how would you go do that? Well, why? Well, look, these are the connection requests. You can see here's my 3 connection requests that I recently received. You'll see here, Pete has a connection, has a headline in here that's far more kind of appealing, specific than Alexandra and Sarah. Why? Because Alexandra's just a full stack developer. Sarah's a senior project manager, AV group, whereas Pete is helping creators to effectively market their audio content to their email list. Well, I'm a creator, and therefore that could be quite interesting, right? So that's why this is important, because it shows up in those connections. It also shows up when you send a DM to people. This is Janice or Jay, and she has a really specific messaging outreach. So she's transforming the way sales leads retain and grow customers. And so that shows up at the top when someone hits you up in your message, right? So it's a really important place for you to really be specific about the audience you're targeting, okay? So there's a bit of a formula, and I'm going to say for you to take a screenshot of this or write it down, but essentially who and how you help is the first part of the formula, and why they should listen. So when you go and start to try and connect with people, or you send a message to people, they will see that at the top and go, okay, helping coaches and consultants, course creators sprint to $1 million in revenue. Okay, so that's who, because remember, that's the search that I did. So that aligns. So they will be that type of person. Okay, so he helps me. And what's the thing that I do? Well, sprint to $1 million in revenue. Okay, well, I can see that it's a growth thing. Okay, awesome. Okay. Why they should listen? Well, award-winning entrepreneur, you know, author, I was an author. I went on a silly TV show. By the way, if anybody's watching that at the moment, I don't know if you are watching The Apprentice at the moment. I sat there with my mouth open watching it last night on a replay, and I just can't believe the amount of idiots that are in there. And I said that out loud, and I was like, oh, damn it. I was one of the idiots once. So there you go. So anyway, just forget about that. So I do apologize in advance if anybody's watched it this year. So who and how they help and why they should listen. So a little bit of credibility. Now make sure that credibility is aligned to the who and how, right? And so there's no point you saying I got my blue badge for my swimming or whatever it is. If you're trying to target, you know, financial services companies, nobody cares, right? So it needs to be relevant to them, okay? This is one of our clients, Jeremy Cooper, and he partners with organizations to create a culture of performance and well-being so they can focus on impacting the world. He's a former top 250 IT leader. Now, he actually targets companies who have IT departments and IT people, and he wants to be able to help them do well-being and reduce stress in the workplace for them, right? Because that's his story. So you can see how that credibility aligns, that he was part of that industry, and now he wants to help that industry to focus so they can carry on impacting the world. So you can see how it's who and how you help and why they should listen. Really, really cool. So take action now. I say now, in about 25 minutes time, when we finish. Get your headline sorted for your target audience, right? Cool, good stuff. Step 3 is we're going to start the outreach, and this is where the stuff happens. Now we talk about in my accelerator, on my accelerator, the only thing I do, I've got a business that's called $1 Million Sprint. We've got an accelerator that's called the $1 Million Sprint. We help people switch to $1 million revenue. So we talk about our $1 million hour, right? And so that's 1 hour a day that you should spend on your business, creating these, getting your campaigns going, get stuff sorted. So what I'm going to show you is the type of work that clients will do in their $1 million hour, right? And that's called the 100 Club. Now, the 100 Club has 2 parts to it, okay? And you hit the 100 Club 4 days a week, and you hit the 20 Club 1 day a week. And I'm going to give you some more meat on the bone in a second around that, okay? So what is this? 80 contact messages is part 1 of the 100 Club, right? So these are for your first degree connections, okay? That low hanging fruit. And what are we going to send them? Well, sometimes you are going to, you friend zone your first degree connections. You send out all this lovely LinkedIn contact, you write articles, you have a nice little chat, but you don't go straight to the point. And sometimes it's important to ask, as a kind of a recovering salesperson, the whole point of working as a salesperson is you want to have good leads that want to have a conversation with you about the thing that you sell, right? If you spent too much time trying to warm them up, have a nice conversation, and have a virtual coffee, then the premise of a meeting that you might get after it is not set up for you to pitch them on what you do. It's just, let's have a chat, right? So let's be straight to the point. Let's get you some really good quality meetings. And also you'll probably find that there's a lot of people sitting in your inbox kind of just needing that little pitch over the edge. So we have this 4-step strategy for the message, right? And so you can change this however you want. And actually, just to help you guys out, I'm going to copy and paste this text into the chat so you can grab this out of the chat. And fantastic, good stuff. And you can just literally copy that out of the chat now and just dump it in a Word document or wherever you want to keep it, or one of those notes in those fangled Apple devices, and you can keep this text because it's a really good bit of outreach. Okay, and you guys, if you're low-hanging fruit with this, and you say, hey, let me get straight to the point, and then that's the let me be up front, right? And then who and the pain they have. We're looking to partner with expert entrepreneurs who are awesome at what they do, but need more clients. So that's who they are, right? Because you're reinforcing the fact that you're working with those coaches, or you're reinforcing those financial service companies. And then you say the thing that you can help them. They're great that they do, but they've need more clients. The pain that you solve, right? And then how you solve the pain, well, we run a lead generation, a sales accelerator designed specifically for experts, and we think you'd be a great fit, right? So cool, that's how you can help. Call to action. We'd love to schedule a call next week so we can show you more. And what we specifically don't do is put your calendar link in there because it's too presumptuous. And we really do say next week. And there's a reason why we say next week, because we're going to follow this up if you don't hear back from them. Cool. So it's really to the point, it's really specific, and they know exactly what should happen. So you are not expecting the 80 people to come back to you and go, Pete, thank God you messaged me. All my Christmases have been answered, yes, let's jump a call. You are expecting one, maybe two, right? That's all you need. It means you're going to be ignored by 78 people, or you might be ignored by 70 people. 8 people will tell you to go do one, and 2 people might book into you. But that's fine, because that's 2 appointments that you got today that were more than you were going to have if you didn't do this. And that's the whole mindset for this, right? So that's step 1. So you're going to go onto that and do that. And tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a very quick demo of that because it will just bring it to life. Look, here's my low-hanging fruit. I did this search. Remember, I went onto here and I went 1st degree. I didn't do 2nd and 3rd degree because of 1st degree, I can use this button, which is message. I would go onto this chap here, James, and I would literally, it doesn't even matter if I've been having conversations. Look, these are my kind of connection conversations. When were they had? October 2021, right? So this conversation needs a rekindling, right? I haven't talked to him for a couple of years, and it's just kind of been like, hi, how's things? So this is a great message for me to use just to kind of, maybe I've been friend zoning James, it's time for me and James to actually have this chat. I don't want to look, hi James, I don't want to take it straight to the point. We're looking to partner with experts. We run this accelerator. Let's have a chat next week, right? Bam. Simple as that. I then take a pen. I put a little line on a piece of paper that would indicate 1. And then I go to Ian and I do exactly the same, right? We leave James, right? I go to Ian, bam, I'll go out and say exactly the same thing, right? And so you just go bam, bam, bam until you hit 80. That's how you do it. And you time yourself and you try and get faster each day. That's how you work. Now, you can delegate this, of course you can, but I would always say run this for a few weeks yourself, understand the system, perfect the messaging so you're seeing it come back, and then you can delegate it to, say, a VA, or you can offshore it, or ultimately you can use automation tools for this as well. Cool. So let's go back to the presentation. Morning, by the way, guys who have been joining us halfway through. We're just talking about LinkedIn outreach and doing messaging. Okay, so step 2 of the 100 Club, so we've done 80 connections, is we're going to grow our audience. So we're going to do 20 connections. Why 20? Well, if you're working LinkedIn organically, you're not subscribing for things like Sales Navigator or anything else, you will probably hit a limit of about 100 new connections a week. Okay, so that will be 100 new connections. Now, that 100 connections per week means that you need to just keep underneath the radar because you're just using it for prospecting. Why do LinkedIn want you to start using things like Sales Navigator? Well, because it means that you're paying them, right? And so they're putting on this stuff for free. They don't have a really robust ads model like, say, Facebook and Instagram, etc. So they do rely on a lot of these subscriptions, such as Sales Navigator, right? So if you're staying under the Sales Navigator necessity of you having to upgrade, about 20 a day. And a super tip, by the way, gang, is when you're doing these searches and we want to do new connection requests to these 20 a day, So let's remove this and go second and third degree connections. You might just focus on second degree connections first, right? But do that. You can then start to see it. Why would you do second degree connections, by the way? Just because there might be some, some better, more familiarity with them going, oh, okay, Dave, etc., or whatever, right? So these are the people that would go for. Now, when you are thinking about, do I want to connect with these people? Super tip is don't just click on this person and then go, okay, that person's good. You send them a connection message, and then you go back up to this search thing. You go find this search and go, great. And then we go back to find it, right? What you just did there is 2 searches. LinkedIn will very quickly tell you that you are doing too many searches on the platform. And it will send you a little note to say, hey, we're going to freeze your account for 24 hours or whatever, because you've used it too many searches. So the tip that I want to show you is, if you want to check out Claire here, you would go right click, open in new tab, right? And then you open her in new tab. You can check her out there. You can send the connection request. You can close that tab down, and then you're going back to the original search, which is not a new search. And you can then go back and go check out Aaron here. Make sense? So it just means that you're just not doing too many searches. That's a really important point, because you'll soon come up against that LinkedIn kind of like, it's not like they're going to ban you. They're not going to do anything, like going to delete your account. They're just going to pause you for 24 hours because you've overused it. That's just how they do. Why do they do that? Because they want you to upgrade to Sales Navigator. So just play the game, right? That's why you hang out with me in the mornings, to find out this stuff. Okay, so 20 connection requests. So what are we going to say to them, right, gang? So we know why we're doing 20, because it's 100 a week, right? So 5 days a week. So we're going to go to this opportunity, which is the non-first degree. It's the second or third degrees, and we're going to send them messages. So I've got 2 different variants here of a semi-familiar ask. So what you're doing here is you're saying, so for example, LinkedIn showed me your profile multiple times, right? So that's like me saying, hey, Pete, LinkedIn told us that we should be friends. So let's be friends, right? So that's the kind of first message. So that could work well. Or the second semi-familiar ask message could be, I'm on a personal mission to grow my connections in this industry. Would love to connect. So it's kind of like, I hope you're doing great. It's the start here. Hi, first name. It's Richard. It's very kind of familiar. Sometimes I do like hi Paul, it's Richard, just a friendly coach to coach. Hello, how's things in this crazy upside down world, right? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that familiarization, trying to be conversationalist. However, here's the other kicker. The second way of doing it is you just leave the connection request blank. Now, we see, and it's very close, we see blank versus cleverly tested and scripted connection request messages having almost the same connection rate, right? Sometimes it can be slightly better with a proper message. Sometimes it's there, and obviously we got hundreds of clients. We're always testing this, and they're giving us direct feedback as well. What's working? Why does a blank message work? Because the thing that they have to read is your header. That headline we did in step 1. That's all they have to go on, and they'll see those new connections come in, and they'll just go, okay, that's interesting. Let me show you that, right? So when someone's getting their new connections, you'll see here, I've got an invitation from Sam and Abdul. And so they both have not put actually a connection message. It's a bit of a shame, actually, because I think I've only got 2 invitations. I feel so lonely. But I've only got 2 invitations there. They both haven't put a connection message, which is normally text underneath. And so all I have to go on is their profile picture, their name, and this line, right? And that's your headline, right? So you can see here, actually is quite a good example, like manager, Oracle, right? Or helping everyday professionals with higher returns or alternative, right? So you can see Abdul's kind of probably watched one of my trainings, definitely my training, but he's kind of got the idea of this helping people, whereas this guy's just manager, so it's a company stuff, right? So, you might ignore him and you might accept him, right? Because that's all you've got to go on. Whereas if I very quickly, because I'm keen to make sure that we have some time for chat afterwards. If we go back to this slide here, this is how the bit, if they put a bespoke message in, you see, hello, Richard, I'm an expert and those are the messages. That's how that would appear, right? So maybe just leave it blank. So what would be the message and the method for this is you'd go back to your search and you would just simply go people and you go connections, second degree. I can do all these different searches. I've got Sales Navigator, so I can search as much as I want. So but just try and always have that tab open with that search for you. And then, so if I want to connect, I'd simply pay connect and I would just press send. Great. She's going to send, right? So that's how you do it. And then go next. And you're doing 20. That's where you hit the 100 club. Okay. Let me pull this together for you again. So let's go back to this. Oh, no, hang on. Let me not go back to here. Let's go all the way back down to where we were. Here. Yeah, no. Oh, crikey, we're nearly at the end. So there we go. We're just here. Yeah, wicked. Okay, so that's kind of message. That's, you know, show you that that's how they'll be coming and they'll be showing, right? Good. So step 4, this is the nudge. So not everybody is going to say yes straight off the bat to that one message. So what you want to do is look, and also it's quite salesy, right? So what you want to do is bring the human bit back and just show that genuinely you want to have a conversation with them next week, right? See Gavin here saying this nudge stuff is brilliant. He managed to get a global director of Time Out magazine because of a nudge, right? Because he wasn't going to do the nudges, he did it, and he got a great lead off the back of it, right? This is the system, the nudge comes next. Now, this is what a nudge is. It's just kind of going, hey, just bubbling this up to the surface. I know you get busy all the time. Let me know if there's a good time to speak next week. Does Thursday afternoon work, right? So you're nudging and you're being specific about the next step. That really shows you're serious and keen. Really, really important, right? So those nudges become your 80 in the day. Oh, hang on. What do I mean by that, right? Let me show you this. To hit the 100 club, this is how you would work. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Monday 100 club. And what you're doing is you're opening on Monday. So you're doing 20 connection requests. Actually, there should be a 20 there on Wednesday because you're doing 20 a day, every day, 5 days a week. That hits your 100 connections in a week. But you're only doing 80 straight to the point messages on Monday and Tuesday because that's opening up the conversation, right? So 80 on Monday, 80 Tuesday, that's 160, right? Then on Thursday, you're nudging the 80 on Monday. So that becomes your Thursday's 80. So you hit the 100 club with your 20 connections and your 80 nudges on Thursday. Friday, you nudge Tuesdays, right? And so for the entire week, you are only going after 160 of your first degree connections. And so that gives you a 2-hit within the week, and it's really intensive in that week, and that should deliver you the appointments over the next week that you're doing your strategy sessions. But then next week, you're doing the next 160. So the bit at the bottom where we talk about, well, look, what is your runway? Well, your runway is essentially how many first degree connections you currently have that are your target audience. So you can see an example here, down here, we have 746 is my first degree connections in my audience. So I divide that by 160, which is your Monday and Tuesday new leads. And that means that I am able, my runway is 4.6 weeks of running this campaign to my current target. Cool, right? So I know that I've now got an opportunity. So what I need to do at the end of those 4.5 weeks is I need, or you'd probably round it up to 5 weeks because you just clean up the rest of it in 1 week. It wouldn't quite hit 160. So after the 5 weeks, on the 6th week, what do? Well, I either keep the same message and I slightly tweak the search. So instead of coaches, I might go after consultants, or I might go after course creators. Or if I'm really specific on my audience, and I only want to work with them, I just change the call to action. So I might then say, hey, I've got this great scorecard. Would you like to do it? Or, hey, I've got this round table I'd love you to come to every Wednesday morning. Or, hey, I'd love you to download this ebook, right? And you can loop this. Now, the game plan is next time is that it's not 746, 43 people. It's because of the 20 connections a day that you've been doing. Hopefully by then you've got 850 people that are your first degrees that are in your target market by the end of it. So then your runway gets longer by the 20 connection requests a day, and your lead generation, your appointments get longer or get more frequent because you've got a bigger data set to work on. Cool. I'm going to answer questions in a second. So just before I do this, because I don't want you guys to shoot off, I'm going to do a Q&A, and actually I'm going to extend the Q&A because I'm happy to hang out to about 5 to, right? But before you do, I'm now doing, so this is kind of new. A lot of the guys will know that I were doing group one-to-one strategy sessions. Now, at the start of this year, I'm actually opening up my diary one-to-one for clients for strategy sessions. Now, in those strategy sessions, see here, you can say free strategy session at the top here at my website. And on there, you'll see that there's an orange button here that you can then go book your free slot here, right? You click on that and that will take you through to my calendar. And in that calendar, you'll see that I've got, I'm glad I did this live with you guys. Let me give you my one-to-one calendar because that's still the group calendar, right? So copy link. Okay. So this is my one-to-one calendar, and it's a 45-minute session. I normally give a little time if we need to overrun. There you go. Look, here's my one-to-one calendar. So that's going into the chat now. Specifically, we are going to be emailing this out as well. But this one-to-one calendar will allow you to book directly into my diary. Now, what are we going to do in that session? Well, we're going to look specifically at where you are now at the start of 2023, right? And where would you like to be by the end of it? And that's not just like, I would like to, have a bigger business. It's, well, actually, how many leads do you need to make the bookings for your demos, to be able to book the sales for the demo? What campaigns are you going to run? How will that work? What team do you need on board? And I'll use all my knowledge and experience and templates that we'll go through to give you that feel. Just to give you an idea of this, this is the spreadsheet that we'll go through. In here, we call it the maths and balls. One, we create the maths for your year's growth, and then we talk about having the confidence. That's the balls bit. I'm sorry, it's a bit crude, but the balls bit to be able to go for it for the year, right? So this is your target income goals. So we talk about personal goals. Now, we don't go too personal, your own financial situations, but I do share with you mine because it allows us to put what our revenue target for each month is, because that's the revenue target personally that I need for myself. So then my personal revenue target for my business becomes 34,000, which using our model means that I need a £413,000 business. And so essentially it tells me, well, that means I need to have this many demos. I need to have this many sales. I need to have this many leads. Where am I going to get these leads from? And so ultimately this gives me the volume of leads, volume of appointments, volume of sales I need to be able to achieve my ideal lifetime cycle. And then what I ultimately do with my clients is do 90-day sprints. So we then plan what those 90 days look like. And we say, well, this is how many leads we need. It's 90, and that's where we're going to go. So that's the type of stuff that we will do in that session. So again, do book into there, grab one of my time slots, and I will be more than happy to walk you through that. Cool. Okay. That's all I've got to say about that. So thank you all for this. Let's just throw it into the room. Thoughts around the LinkedIn outreach stuff, and any further questions or stuff that you would like to add to enrich the conversation. John.
I'll get the ball rolling. As always, Richard, brilliant and fantastic quality content. I'm pretty sure that most of us know, say 25 or 30% of that, but we're not doing it. So whenever I come to these sessions, it's always a great value to me, and gives me a lot of enthusiasm and energy. So thank you very much for that, mate. I really appreciate it.
Oh, stop. I'm blushing. But thank you. Good to see you, mate. Other thoughts, gang? Questions, specific questions. I'm happy to go back over and recap anything, but just back into the room.
I got one. You did two different messages there, and I wasn't quite sure what the differences were and why you used one rather than the little sort of friendly ones, and then the sort of longer introduction. Maybe I missed which way around you're supposed to do those.
So they were just two different options of different connection messages that you could use. The semi-familiar ask type messages, they are for your 20 connection requests a day. You can either leave it blank, or you could do the two sort of smaller ones. The long one, which is the straight to the point, which is the, hey, don't want to get to the point. That's for your first degree connections. And so what you would normally do is, for example, what we say to clients, and when we work it, we just jump on my blackboard of truth and justice, is that you're going to be doing a search in here. Oh, rainbow pen today. Awesome. Right. So we've got these are the search that we want to do. Now, when we're going through here, we're going to do the connection request piece, right? And so once you're doing the connection request and they say, yeah, great, I'm great. Thanks, very good to meet you. You then drop them into your first degree campaign, right? So now I'm a connection. So you do the 20 a day connections. And so say, 7 of them become connections each day. Then after you kind of do like a 3-day wait. After a 3-day wait, you can then drop them into your first degree connections. And then you can send them that straight to the point. And then you can send them the nudge. And the hope is that these are then driving the strategy sessions or the demos that you're doing, right? So your connection campaign is not going directly to strategy session. It's just super friendly, super conversationalist, because you know that your system will pick these guys up into your DM campaign and then hit them up with that. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, it was the second degree bit that I missed. That's what it was. So yeah, the smaller messages was the secondary connections. That was the bit I missed. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, so yes, you're right. So this connection, so these are your second plus third degrees, basically the people you're not connected with, and then these are your connections. And so these hopefully will become these through the 20 a day, and then these connections bits will be the 80 a day that we're doing. That equals your 100 club, yeah? Sweet. Glad, any excuse to get the rainbow pen out. Further thoughts, gang? Questions? Peter?
Do you actually take into account the attitudes of the people you're contacting as you actually map the process, the progress of your approach to them? One of the things I've done for quite a long time is I look at where they sit on what I call an attitude ladder.
Okay.
And I wonder whether you build that into your approach when you're actually trying to generate and encourage these leads to grow.
Really interesting. Just to give us a bit more meat on the bone about the attitude ladder, Peter.
Well, the attitude ladder, it's, I mean, you talk about at certain stages with your process of coming in with advocates. The aim is to get an advocate who not only will hopefully sign up to your process, but also start spreading the word. I think for me, one of the key issues in going through this lead generation system, as you're building that relationship with people, is knowing where people are at any specific moment, and then having a particular plan or approach that you can use that reflects a particular attitude. For example, if you've got what I call the doubting Thomas, the one who's not particularly sure, then you've got to go in and be quite dynamic and strong and powerful with lots of evidence and proof. But when you've got someone who's just stepped over the line and is really starting to take interest, then I start thinking about, okay, if they're starting to take interest, what tone should I be taking with them? And I know you're talking about being comfortable, being relaxed in your approach. But I also think a lot of people find it hard to make decisions. And even when you get to the comfy people, there are moments when you need to actually push them and be quite tough. So these are sort of things I wonder whether you've built into your strategy and your approach.
No, I really like that, actually. I mean, it's essentially, you're right, you're tailoring it based upon responses, and then using kind of characters to help people to know, oh, that's a cautious, Chris or whatever it is, and then you can start to, I haven't built that into the approach. I think once you got replies coming back at you, when especially the first degree connection and conversations start, you tend not to then go hit them straight up with a straight to the point. You'll tailor that response to where they are. But building out templates based upon those type of responses would be a great way of doing it, Peter. So yeah, I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. That's cool. John, yes. Sorry, John. Peter, where can people find out a bit more about the attitude ladder?
Well, just contact me directly and I'll happily chat to them quite willingly.
Like it. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. John, yes.
Richard, just very quickly, once you sent out the friend request or the LinkedIn connection request, what happens then? Because I've got hundreds that are pending. A few people I've gone, I like that contact. I'll make a friend or a LinkedIn request, and then it sits there pending. Is there any way of getting to those pending people? Because once you've got them pending, that's it. You can't message them again, can you?
No, you can't. Well, there's a few things you can do. You can remove the pending connection requests. So you can go in there and see who's pending. You can remove those. The automation tools that we use will do that automatically. But ultimately, it's just a little bit more legwork. So sometimes what you might do on the nudge, if you particularly want someone to work on, is that I think, well, actually, I really want Claire to connect with me. So I'd go on to Claire, and the tactic here is to do Parksy came to one of these events with this, and it was around clam, which is comment, like, add, message, right? And I really like that, Parksy. I've nicked that loads, so I do appreciate it. But you go into
I'll wait for the check in the post.
Yeah, it'll be a rubber one. But I do appreciate it. But the activity here, you see her activity. So if I go show all activity, and what I'm looking for is an opportunity to connect with her, right? So I go see all her activity, and I go to posts. Why do I go to posts, not anything else? It's because I want to comment and I want to see what she's putting out. I don't care what she's commenting on other people's stuff. So you can see here, she's saying particularly it's tough for those. So she's talking about something personal, maybe not personal, but a cause there. So maybe, and at Christmas is probably not right for me. So I'm just trying to find something like a thought leadership post. So virtual rapid well-being. Okay, so she's doing some well-being. And you see contact from this man. Cool. Okay. So here she's saying, on my way to London to the Emma Husband Memorial Prize Awards evening, I was shortlisted amongst these people. Wish me luck. So what I could do, right, is that I can go to there and go, hi Claire. Hi Claire. Did you win? Something like that, right? So just a comment, just starts the conversation, right? So I can post that. I can like it. So that's comment, like. Now I've sent her, because you can see here pending, a connection request. So that's me adding her. And when I send her the connection request, if I put that as a specific connection message, that's me messaging. So I commented, like, add message. Now, what does that mean? It means that one, she's going to see that she's got a new connection message here. And she's going to see in the notifications that I've liked her post and I've commented. So I'm showing up in her world like 2 or 3 times. And so the likelihood of her accepting that connection is far more likely, because she can see that I'm actually engaged and talking about her. And it's not like a, hey, great post. It's a, hey, something specific that a person would have had to have done to be able to do that. So that will give you a far higher connection percentage off the back of that. Cool. Is that right, John? Okay, I'll flip to Parksy. You're happy? Double thumbs up. I like it. Parksy.
Yeah, before I ask my question, can I just go back to your pending thing, which John just asked? It's important that you delete the pending, because they, after, say, a month or 2 months, because the algorithms will give you a negative brownie point.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's good. It's good connection, sort of, cleanliness, basically. Just before you do, I just realised that we've gone past the 9:45. Now, I did say, and I will be staying on the call for another 5 minutes answering questions. But remember, gang, and Parks, will jump to you. These sessions are one-to-one. There's loads of value in these demo sessions. And I'll just stick that back in the chat. And also, anybody watching this on replay, we'll be sending you an email with that if you want to. So jump on there. Thank you, by the way, because we've already seen that there's been some people booking onto that during the call. So that's very cool. Thank you. Look forward to chatting. But Parksy, back over to you, sir.
Yes. Sending your connection requests out, do you keep a check on the percentage of successful acceptance of the connection request?
We do, because we use an automated software. I don't go into automated softwares on here on purpose, guys. So if you want to ask about that, book into a strategy session with me. I can go through that. And the reason why is that, you know, these things, you know, I don't want to advise people in the wrong way en masse. I'd rather do it individually with you guys if you're thinking about automation software. So I'll cover that. But because we use a LinkedIn automation connection, it's got a dashboard, and that dashboard will tell us our percentage connection request. We're about 42%, which is good, because I would expect most people to start about 23, 27% in there. But that's without doing the legwork I just said. Sorry, Parksy, yes, go for it.
No, you've just answered the question.
Oh, okay. Do I track it? Okay, yes.
Yeah. You actually answered more than I was expecting you to answer.
You know me, I'm not shy of elaborating. I'm a marketeer, aren't I? Don't let a few words get in the way of a good story. Cool, great to see you, mate. So got time for another question if anybody's got one. Good to see you, Sam, by the way. Colleen, Andy, great to see you. Tom, Tony, John, fantastic. Benjamin, back into the room, gang. What thoughts? Marie, good to see you. Sunny, thoughts, gang? Andy, sir.
Morning. It's
Morning.
just to wish you a happy New Year and happy Christmas. That was all. That's it.
Oh, bless you. I'm back at you. Happy New Year, happy Christmas to you. Good to see you. Thoughts, gang. As I say, I've got a couple more minutes, and then we'll close it. Carl, yes.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
I couldn't find the bit to raise my hand in Zoom because I've spent the last year in Microsoft Teams, so sorry about that. I just wanted to say hi to you, Richard. We haven't actually spoken before, but I wanted to just share a message of being persistent and consistent, because we actually connected. You sent me a connection invite back in December 2020.
Oh, really?
And I accepted that. And you've sent a little friendly message, and if I had 2 minutes, I could bring it up on the screen and show everyone. But the point I'm making is, because of that, you've always been in my mind, and I've had lots of emails from you, which I thought, yeah, I must join that. I must join that. The amount of times last year I was going to join one of these sessions and didn't. But what really got me today was I got a message last night from you saying, I've got something coming up at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then 5 minutes before the session, it's starting at 9. Now, I was busy for the first 10 minutes. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've got an hour, so I'm going to join it. So the important thing is you don't know how long any of the things that you're doing is going to take and when it will land. I mean, after this, I'm sure myself and Richard will catch up for a chat. I've got a good following on LinkedIn. We do different things, but it'd be good to follow up on that. But the key thing is, one day those messages will drop at the right time when your target is in the right place, and good things may come of it. So I just really wanted to share that. Don't give up if you don't hear very quickly back from the people you're trying to contact. Sooner or later, if you be persistent and do this email thing that Richard's doing, I'm sure you've got workshops on how you do that. It will work, because it's worked now, and I feel like I know you, even though we've not actually met, and just shared 2 or 3 messages on LinkedIn, and I've read lots of your emails. That was it.
That's awesome. Well, look, that's fantastic, and thank you, Carl, so much. It's a testament to the process of awareness, consider, convert. So what we talk about is that once you build awareness, so people connect with you, then you put consideration assets out. So a weekly moment, such as this event, it's our weekly. People know they can drop in. It's consistent. It's always been there. It's not like this week I'm doing a webinar and then 5 days, and or in 2 months' time I've got an event. It's every single week, 9 o'clock. So people understand it. It could be your podcast that you drop every Monday at 3. It could be your event that you do. It could be a article you put out. Whatever it is, just having that moment every single week that's your consistency, thought leadership piece, where people can consider you, and then from there, if the timing's right, they will come to it, and potentially they might move on to the next stage, which is then to book a one-to-one with you, or a demo, or whatever it is, whatever your sales thing is. So awareness, consider, convert. That's the kind of the funnel that we help people put together. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. Looking forward to catching up.
We'll catch up afterwards sometime.
Great, good stuff,
Yeah.
Carl. Thank you. Colleen, I'll give you the final question of the morning. Good to see you. Welcome.
Hi.
Over to
Hello.
you.
So I actually don't have a question. I just want to make a comment. Well, I don't know about you guys, but here in South Africa, free stuff works. So the minute you give out free stuff, you're guaranteed to get some feedback. And Richard actually gave me some advice over the Christmas period because I wasn't sure whether I should, bother to market my services. And that free advice actually got me here today. So I'll definitely be taking that further.
Oh, that's awesome. Look, there you go. I mean, that's the consideration we were talking about, the weekly moment piece. And you may not be a person that likes live events. You may be a person that likes a podcast. You may be a person that likes to write. But whatever you do, make that your moment every week and make your marketing around that moment and be there. And then that's what builds over time and pays off in the long run. It's a long game, when you people first aware of you, they're not ready to buy from you. It's a long game. Right. Big love, guys. Thank you all so much. Happy New Year. Let's make 2023 an awesome year. And I'll see you either in a strategy session 1-to-1 or next Wednesday, 9 a.m. UK time. Big love. Take care. See you on the flip side.
Thank you.